Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Thrive Live. Hi, guys. How we doing?
Good. Happy New Year.
Beth, how are you?
Happy New Year. It's still February. It's still January, and we're still all figuring out that we need to write 23 instead of 22, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Although it feels like I'm already 6 months into 2023. Is anybody else feeling that? Like it's been a long couple of weeks.
Well, it started fast. Started faster than last year, which is a good sign.
Yeah.
No, it's exactly it. I think last year, we've talked about that, and it was really slow, and I think a lot of people were sick after the holidays.
Yeah.
that really, kind of slowed things down a bit. But folks seem to be ready to jump into 23, which is awesome.
Yeah, and one of the things we've been talking a lot about is quiet hiring. So, we love those.
Wait, quiet hiring, is that different than quiet quitting?
Yeah, it's like the opposite.
Are we just putting quiet on everything?
Yeah.
Although our children are never quiet, right? So
yeah,
is it just
no,
never?
Yeah. You tell them to be quiet, and they go, "What?" Especially in church, right?
Yeah. So we're not sure if that term is just from leaders going, I've got all these folks quiet quitting that are not really putting in a full day's work. So now I got to go out and find ways to get the work done. So now I've got to, and I can't hire anybody because I'm on a hiring freeze. So I've got to find ways to do it under the table to get my work done.
Right. Well, I mean, there are lots of ways that they're doing it. Even though, we hear recession and, there are cutbacks in certain areas, in the long run, nobody ever really wants to lay people off. So if there's a way that I think, managers and leaders can get the things done without having to make a major change in the workforce, that's kind of where this quiet hiring, way is going, right?
Yeah. Well, what happens is it's sometimes companies have cash, and cash is easier to deal with than potentially adding expenses to the bottom line or headcount expenses, which include, not only your salary, but your bonus and your stock options, if you get those,
health insurance and
all that. So that ends up being really expensive. So sometimes you have cash and you can bring in a consultant, you can bring in a contractor, get the work done that you need and do it without a regular headcount. So that's why when things get tough like this, fractional work, hey, how are you? We do fractional work and, project-based work, which we also do, and gig work, that becomes, that comes to the center of an organization because they have the ability to do that as opposed to doing more sunk fixed costs. And then also they're pulling people out of jobs that are super important and then potentially putting them into some other jobs that are super important because potentially maybe those other super important jobs are a little less important and something is more important right now. I read something where I think it was Qantas pulled executives out of the corporate headquarters and had them do baggage handling. Because that was, they're like, okay, you're an executive, but getting people's bags to off the plane and to the right place is really one of the most important things we do. So that's the kinds of things you're seeing.
Mm-hmm. That reminds me of Undercover Boss. When I was reading that, I was thinking a lot about Undercover Boss, and I was thinking about the best managers that I've ever had, even when I was 15 and worked at, Little Caesars Pizza, were the managers that had come up in the ranks, who'd done all the work. And, now that I do broadcast television, I see a lot of the folks, we have crewers. So they hire us as gig workers, right, for different, sporting events or e-gaming or live shows or whatever it is. And the crewers that have worked in production seem to crew the best crews because they know what we as people on set want around us. So they hire the people that do all the things that we need done, not just to put a warm body in the spot. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it's got to be good for that business with Qantas to sort of bring the leaders back, like bring them back to the people, right? Bring them back into the normalcy of what really drives their business. I think it's a pretty good model. I kind of dig it.
Yeah, and I think what's also happening too is, you know, organizations, just laid off, a bunch of people. Um, all of a sudden, a leader says, you know what, I've got, work that is critical, needs to get done, and I don't have the team to do it, like the baggage handlers or whatever that may be.
Mhm.
Uh, so that leader's got a couple of choices. Either they can go back to their executives and say, you know, oops, I, can't get this work done. I can't deliver. And then the executives can probably say, well, you know what, maybe we should have laid this guy off, because
Mhm.
he's having a hard time managing his work, or that that leader goes out and finds creative ways to get their work done, and that's where
Mhm.
Jason, what Jason was talking about. It's
Yeah.
you find a consultant, find a gig worker, a contractor to get your work done, because you've got to still get it completed. And the last thing you want to do is go ask for a head count, or go to the market to hire somebody when you just laid a bunch of people off.
Yeah.
That's just a bad situation, making things worse.
Yeah. It's
And
bad business.
yeah, bad business. And so now
Mhm.
you're starting to see a lot of organizations doing this quiet quitting, quiet hiring, where they're kind of doing it very quietly. They're bringing in teams to get things done. Even though they had teams doing the work before. So
Mhm.
it's an interesting phenomenon, and that's happening.
And remember, quiet means that you're not going to know about it. So make sure that your network is good, so that if they do decide to bring in a gig worker or a contractor and you're interested in doing that, that they'll give you a call, or get on Fiverr, or get on, um,
Any
gosh,
number of those types of,
Yeah,
yeah.
Upwork. Sorry, Gil Lawson.
yeah,
Upwork.
yeah.
Right.
Upworks, the best
Yeah.
one, the best one.
Yeah, the best one.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I guess if I was an executive at Qantas and if I had said to them, let them eat cake, they wouldn't like that, right? Meaning I didn't want to go do the bags.
Yeah.
I'd
Probably not so much.
probably get in trouble for that.
Although you would probably sing them a song about eating cake.
I probably would. Cake by the ocean.
I knew you were going to do
Yeah,
that one. I knew that
Oh,
one.
that's right.
I
That's
just
right.
heard that.
That's right. That's
there's
right.
not that many, but
I heard it
Yeah.
in my head.
good.
Uh,
Um, so another, but one good thing I think about taking an employee and sort of moving them across the board to give them other responsibilities is it gives them sort of the option. One, they can say no, obviously. Don't know how that'll affect things, but they do have that opportunity. But if you do have the chance to take on something new and something different that you think is still within your skill set, it sort of gives you an opportunity to shine a little bit. It shows several things. It shows one, you care about the company, team player, but it also gives you the chance to show skills that maybe aren't highlighted in your current role. So it might be a good way to sort of move through the ranks in the company if that's your, end goal, and sort of kind of show what you got, right?
yeah, I think one of the things that we've been talking about a lot is
Mhm.
uh, focusing on your internal talent in
Mhm.
23 to fill critical roles. And that's another way to do it. It's to is to look at somebody's background, their capability to be flexible and learn quickly, and move them into roles where they can do that and they can develop, and grow. Uh,
Mhm.
Yeah,
and and and
yeah,
that's
that's right.
that's another way to do it.
In 2023, it's all about pitching in and being a help. Like, be an easy employee to manage in 2023.
Mhm.
Now is not the time to be really entitled and say, I need all this PTO and I'm not going to do this project because it's not in alignment with my personal goals and values. And oh, I'm not interested in doing that. And oh, so and so is really difficult to deal with. And oh, Mr. Manager, I don't like your management style. You need to change. Here's a book. With everybody getting laid off and companies looking to trim headcount, this is the time. Be super easy. Like,
Yeah.
volunteer for things, do work. I'm not saying get rolled over. I'm not saying do things that violate your integrity or your ethics. Or I'm not saying, do anything like that. I'm just saying be easy to manage employee. That's
And you can still,
right now.
Yeah, you can still set your boundaries. You can even say, I'm happy to jump in and take on this additional role, but I just want to clarify that once we're over this hump, I would still like to go back to the role I was in before. I'm hoping that we're not going to be adding these as permanent responsibilities for me. I'm just here to fill the spot, and then when we get somebody there, I'll be happy to roll it over to them.
Yeah, I don't want to be the permanent baggage handler in Poughkeepsie.
Yeah.
I'd like to go back to my other job.
Exactly. At the corporate headquarters.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry.
So, Jason and I, as you well know, are fans of Below Deck. And last night, well, the one that I saw last night, because I'm playing catch up, Captain Sandy took over spoiler alert, took over a role for another captain who had to leave. And she was vacuuming. And one of the stews came in and was like, there's a captain vacuuming, and I'm like, that's why Captain Sandy is an amazing manager. Because she'll jump in and do the vacuuming.
Yeah. And so they were surprised. They're like, oh my gosh. And she said the comment that I was like, I would never ask you to do something that I wouldn't do myself.
Yep. That's a good manager.
Yep. That is a good manager. They've got to be able to roll up their sleeves and help the team out when they need to. And that's critical.
Yep. So quiet hiring. So while we're quiet hiring, let's talk a little bit about options for companies. If you're a manager and you're looking to do quiet hiring and you've kind of looked at your workforce and you think to yourself, I don't know, there's a couple roles here that I need filled, but I don't really see anyone on my team who A, has the opportunity to do it, or B, has the skill set to do it, or the will to do it. Where can they go to find folks, Thrive HR Consulting, to fill roles?
Well, actually, what happens is you're in your office and then something comes up. And as a manager, like the hair on the back of your neck stands up, or you start to get a cold chill down your spine, or, your gut starts to hurt. And you're like, oh my God, we're not going to get that done. Like, that's a deliverable. It's not going to get met. And what do we do? So when you have one of those situations where you're just physically recoiling because you don't know how to work gets done, give us a call, because we can help you. Or, get on Fiverr or get on Upwork. But if you have an HR project that you need assistance with, we can help you get it done. And that's what quiet hiring is about right now.
Yeah. And we just had a discussion earlier this week with a general counsel, up in the mountain states, and their HR department of 3 just lost 2 people. And guess what? The second one is leaving on Friday after 4 weeks on the job. And so they're calling us going, can you help us? And we're sending out a statement of work with a proposal to help them out and until they can get their hiring back, up and running. So, we've got the expertise, on the team, whether it's compensation, whether it's benefits, day-to-day HR support, recruiting, whatever, we can help you in some of these quiet hiring moments.
We can send in a full recon team to help you.
Exactly.
We will deploy immediately. We're actually deploying pretty quickly for this company, so we can do that.
Exactly. Yeah, we're planning on having somebody on available and ready to go on Monday, as an example.
Amazing.
So
amazing. Well, that's what happens, especially when in the HR field, when you need these roles filled. It's really nice to have the chance to bring in someone who is seasoned, trained, and ready to roll, without an agenda, right? Because sometimes you fill roles and people are like, yeah, this is nice, but I'm on an upward curve and I need to, move and shake and blah, blah, blah. And they really just want somebody to do that darn project, right?
Yep, exactly. Exactly.
So it's
It's
nice
all
to have a
about
fractional HR group to handle that.
yeah, it's all about going in and getting the work done.
Mhm.
Getting things clicked off your to-do list,
Yeah.
and we're able to do that. We've done that for clients for the last 2.5 years,
Yeah.
and we'll continue to do that as we go forward. And we love that kind of work.
Amazing.
And if you have baggage handling, I will try baggage handling.
Yeah, there you go.
And I want the video, and I want to know what songs he's singing while he's.
Oh, I'll be having my
Yeah.
AirPods in a lot doing
Yeah.
baggage handling. Yeah.
And some folks around him might wish that they also had their AirPods in. I'm just kidding. Just kidding, Jason.
Yeah, they would. They would. It's bad.
Just kidding. When I was little, I had these. I'm aging myself here. I had these white headphones, big, like half circle earmuffs on these headphones. And I would play, because I grew up in the South, I would play like Dolly Parton and Crystal Gale and Kenny Rogers albums, and I would blast it out in my ear. And I was like 8 years old. And of course, it's attached to the record player, right? Because, nothing wireless. And so I'm like jamming around my room, and I am at the top of my lungs singing these songs because I had to sing over the noise in my head. But I didn't, because I was 8, figure out that the rest of the household could hear all the songs I was singing. So when you look back in your life and you think, thank God there were no cell phones. There were hard to find. The recording devices were hard to find. Like you'd have to go get like the Betamax recorder in order to record your kid. So there's no proof of any of this.
No digital footprint of you doing this. Well, that's good.
Thank God.
But
Yeah.
we have a strong digital footprint these days.
So true.
So that's quiet. That's quiet hiring. Now,
yep.
I'm interested to see what the other quiet work euphemism will be that comes up. So we'll have to stay tuned for that.
We'll have to take bets on that one.
We'll have to take
private bets on that.
Yeah.
Maybe I need to create one.
I'm telling you, we need to copyright these catchphrases. That's it. End of story. My new role is to copyright catchphrases for hiring and firing and quitting and all that. So we guys have something really exciting to announce. Tomorrow, our podcast, Thrive Live, is rolling out. And
I believe it's going to be on Spotify as one of the spots.
It's going to be on Spotify, iHeartRadio, all of the platforms that you use to listen to your podcast. You just have to go in and search Thrive Live or Thrive HR, Thrive Live, Thrive HR. And you should find us. You can hear the shows. We've got some backlog of a few shows. We're adding more shows all the time. So go ahead and search for us and give us a listen.
That's awesome.
Sometimes we look better when you just listen.
The quantum execs who are doing baggage handling can listen to that while they work because they can just go to Spotify on their phone. That's awesome.
That's right. Exactly. Yeah, download the podcast and listen at your leisure for sure.
Yeah. So thanks, guys. We really appreciate you showing up and talking to us about quiet hiring. How can folks reach you if they have questions?
Yeah, so for me, just go on our website, thrivehrconsulting.com, and you could, communicate with us there. Or my email is Ray at thrivehrconsulting.com.
You can also get a hold of me and Jason at thrivehrconsulting.com, or you can send an email to our general email box, which is thrive at thrivehrconsulting.com at any time, and we'll get back to you. We're super easy to find. Yeah, we're on LinkedIn. Exactly. We're on the web. We're on podcast. We're on Slack. Oh yeah, just send me an email if you want to get on our Slack channel. It's free. Talk about anything HR related. So we're everywhere.
We're everywhere. Okay, guys.
We're omni marketing. Omni-channel marketing is what it's called.
There you go. There you go. All right, guys. Have a really good rest of your afternoon. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. And we will talk to you next time. Have a great day. Connections matter. Please remember to search Thrive HR Consulting on social media and subscribe, follow, and share to make that connection. To get an invite to our Slack channel, just comment or drop us an email at thrive@thrivehrconsulting.com. See you next time.